Welcome to Godless Panthers, Christianity is Creepy Part 3. We left off in Part 2 with an analysis of the Fox News clip, and I will be continuing that with some commentary afterward.
I don't think you need the establishment to recognize you,
well, that's
right?
a really
we already
good
know
point.
that.
Well, I'd like to do a poll on
So
who could name 8 Wiccan holidays. I mean, I doubt your average Wiccan could.
Look, Halloween is the new year, so I guess now you get Halloween off over there at the University of Missouri. So that, and then you've got the Festival of Pan, and you've got the solstices and the equinox, and there's like 10 of them. They outnumber most of the other religions, actual religions. And I think that there's ways people can take days off for their special days. I think though that you're going to be looked at kind of funny if you insist that you need Halloween off. I do think it's insulting to if you're a Wiccan or a pagan. And besides, if you're an atheist or even a pagan, isn't every day a holiday? If you're celebrating nature, that's an everyday experience.
Only a country that had been too rich for too long could be this frivolous and silly. Here's the statement from the school. The information about the Wiccan and pagan holidays, the statement says, has been in the guide since last fall. Keep in mind, this is not intended just for faculty. This is an informational guide for anyone across campus. So just letting you know, they are saying.
Letting you know which days you can take. Look,
so they hate Orthodox Christianity. That's kind of what this comes down to.
Well, I think that there is a rejection of tradition. I think that this is, again, not about elevating anyone else. It's about pagans and Wiccans being used for a political agenda to downgrade what's important to a majority of Americans. I think that this is an anti-tradition action. I think pagans and Wiccans should be very angry about being used by the establishment. And I think that there should be a backlash of, look, the tradition in this country is what allows people to be pagans and Wiccans and to enjoy their lives freely. Good luck doing that in any other country.
Good luck. Yeah, you wouldn't want to see the Wiccans when they're angry. Tammy Bruce, thanks very much.
No.
I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
One thing that we can be certain of is this is directed toward an audience that does not and will not look anything up. Such people will mindlessly believe anything that they are told as long as it conforms to their preconceived worldview. This is a trait among those who are indoctrinated into a strict authoritarian and dogmatic structure. Another thing that is clear is the fact that the Tammy Tucker team has not bothered to do even the most cursory spot of research. Why should they bother? They don't have to. They intend to connect with an audience that has no interest in journalistic integrity. They are just pissed off that pagans and Wiccans are mentioned in the University of Missouri Guide to Religious Holidays. And that is it, mentioned. These people are such narrow-minded bigots that they can't stand the mere mention of people they hate. And in this case, they hate Wiccans because and only because they were mentioned. So let's clear things up. Wicca is a subset of pagans. There is no demand, as the Fox team stated, that tests are not to be given on pagan holidays. There is no indication that Wiccans are lazy, looking for an excuse to do nothing, or are anti-establishment. Okay, everything the Tammy Tucker team said is bullshit. Everything. As it turns out, there are about 750,000 Wiccans and pagans living in the United States, and the numbers are growing. But there is no indication that these people have any intention of diluting, attacking, or invalidating long-held American tradition. That is just insane. Most of Tammy's feeble rant is nonsensical gibberish. Pagans and Wiccans should be angry with the establishment for mentioning them? That doesn't make any sense at all. The message here to pagans is, do not exist. Since you have the right to exist in this country, show your gratitude by not using that right. For the record, these types of alternative religious communities exist all over the world, not just the U.S. What is really strange here is that Tammy has stated elsewhere that she does not identify herself as a Christian, but why is she siding with people who would want to establish Christian exclusivity in the U.S.? And I do mean exclusivity. Tammy and Tucker's bullshit appeals to Christian exclusivists, some of whom fall into the dominionist category, which I will be discussing later. Given the chance, some of these people would require every U.S. citizen to belong to their brand of Christian church. Tammy is kissing the wrong ass here. Some of these people would, if they could, have Tammy locked up for being gay and pro-choice. They are the people who would, if they could, have the National Organization for Women abolished. Tammy Bruce, what the fuck is wrong with you? From what I can tell, Tammy is a staunch traditionalist. Her traditionalism overrides any integrity that she may have had. Due to a petition, Tucker Carlson apologized for his remarks that he made against Wiccans. Why Tammy did not, I don't know. Maybe she's celebrating holidays because she's too lazy to write a statement of apology. As these assholes are proud of being bigots, I do not consider Tucker's apology to be sincere. I think instead of an apology, they ought to have a proper interview with a Wiccan who is well-spoken and knowledgeable. But the viewers may actually learn something from that, and it would be fair and balanced, which is forbidden on Fox News. For the record, it is not the pagans who have the most holidays in the university's Guide to Religious Holidays. That award goes to the Jews. But pagans don't have an anti-defamation league. This is a bully mentality. Pick on the easiest target. Would they pick on any religion that is not Christianity if they thought they could get away with it? Of course they would. As I said before, it is the Christian exclusivists whose heart they are trying to win. Now, before I get into Christian exclusivism in the United States and all the baggage that comes with it, let's go back to pagans and Wiccans and the general New Age religious movements. Chapter 3, New Age Religions. Personally, I don't find New Agers to be particularly creepy. And yes, I'm going to use the term New Age as an umbrella to cover many alternative religious movements, including pagans. Some may object to that for various reasons, but for the purpose of this video, it will have to do. The group that was attacked so stupidly by Fox News is not without its faults. What group is? The New Agers tend to be nice people, too nice in my opinion. They know how to leave other people alone. They are making no attempt to hijack the U.S. government. They do not proselytize. They are not obnoxious. In general, I don't have serious complaints about them in the same way that I have complaints against extreme versions of mainstream religions, as well as fucked up cults like Scientology. On the other hand, it is magical thinking, and this can lead to gullibility. As a result, New Age communities are filled with fraud, such as alternative medicine bullshit. Gullibility can pave the road to authoritarian structure, and there have been and are repressive authoritarian New Age cults. They are not common, but it can and does happen. Generally, the New Agers respect individual ideas over dogmatic groupthink, but there are cults such as the Love Israel family of Seattle, repressive and authoritarian. They do tend to be a bit corny for my taste. There is an underlying anti-intellectualism that is part of the package. Again, not as obnoxious as the fundies, but there nonetheless. These issues, in my opinion, are best represented in Tim Minchin's song, Storm. Tammy Bruce could have, if she chose to, presented some legitimate criticisms against the pagan and Wiccan communities. Instead, she chose to be a repulsive bigot, and that's her fault. Tucker Carlson didn't say anything legitimate because he can't. I believe that he really is as stupid as he appears to be. Now I'm going to go back to the damage that is being done by Christian exclusivism in the USA. Chapter 4, Christian Nationalism. Let's have another show of hands. Is David Barton creepy? Now we will take a look at the Christian Nation Gang. From what I'm able to glean from the nonsensical blabbering of this particular group is that they believe that the United States was founded by Christian men and on Christian principles. Therefore, what? Let's hear it from David Barton himself.
Is America a Christian nation? And if so, what exactly does that mean? Well, you first have to define it. The Founding Fathers made a big distinction between America as a Christian nation and Europe as a Christian nation. John Jay, the guy who did the Federalist Papers, John Quincy Adams, etc., said we were an enlightened, rational, civilized Christian nation. So we're not a theocracy. The state doesn't run the church does not wield the sword. You don't have to be a Christian to live here. But from the standpoint of us being a Christian nation, according to their definition, founded largely by Christians, largely with the great respect to Christian principles, and by the way, it is not an insult to the Founding Fathers to say Judeo-Christian principles, because they did that. They were great lovers of the Hebrews. A lot of Founding Fathers were Jews, so we'd call it Judeo-Christian principles. But if you look at signers of the Declaration of Independence, they said America's a Christian nation. So were we? Yes. The last point is, are we? There's 4 polls done recently. There's ABC, there's Gallup, there's Pew, and there's City University of New York. Between 82 and 88% of Americans still call themselves Christians. If you looked at another nation and said 82, 88% are Jews, we'd say it's a Jewish nation. 82 to 88% Muslims, we'd say it's a Muslim nation. America's 82 to 88% professing Christians. I would say that qualifies for a Christian nation.
Christian nationalists will lie through their teeth and claim that they have no intention of furthering the political goals of the Christian right through Christian nationalist propaganda, despite the fact that that is clearly and exactly what they want to do. They are not honest people. Christian nationalists represent the far right of the political spectrum within the fundamentalist evangelical Christian subculture. The problem is that the propaganda that is spewed by Barton and others who agree with him is leaking over into more mainstream factions of Christianity. The result is about 1/3 of the American population, according to a Huffington Post survey conducted in early 2013, would prefer an establishment of a Christian government on either a state or national level. We can talk about the reliability of the poll and the fact that the establishment of a Christian government means different things to different people, but my point remains that this sort of propaganda is not kept in a leak-proof cultural container. Christian nationalist propaganda is based on the ideas that, 1, the Founding Fathers of the United States were almost all self-proclaimed Christians. 2, that the founding documents such as the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, etc. are based on Judeo-Christian principles and morality. 3, the Founding Fathers had intended the United States to be an expressly Christian nation. Though these 3 ideas are patently false, the gist of the message is fairly clear. We lose all clarity when we ask, what does this mean for the citizens of the United States today, as David Barton demonstrated for us so nicely? There's much to say about David Barton, but I'm just going to give a brief rundown on who this guy is. Barton is primarily a right-wing Christian fundy political activist. He is the founder of the organization Wall Builders, which specializes in anti-church state separation political strategy. He has a degree in Christian education from Oral Roberts University. Mike Huckabee, Michelle Bachmann, Glenn Beck, and other Tea Party wackos adore him. Barton is most of all a notorious liar and fraud. Although his lies have been debunked thoroughly, he is getting away with the same shit to this day. Why? I would say it is because he panders to an audience that wants to be lied to, and Barton delivers those lies. David Barton will go to any lengths to demonstrate the false idea that the U.S. was intended to be a Christian nation. By going to any lengths, I will show you what I mean in these 2 clips that I gleaned from Right Wing Watch.
You look at Article 3, Section 1, the treason clause, direct quote out of the Bible. You look at Article 2, the quote on president has to be a native born. That is Deuteronomy 17:15 verbatim. I mean, you look at how many clauses come out.
For a conviction of treason, you have to have 2 eyewitnesses to treason. If you want to know, go check out Ezekiel 18:20. It's a verbatim quote out of Ezekiel 18:20. Why is it that in the 6th Amendment you get the right to confront your accuser? If you don't know, go check out Proverbs 18:17. I mean, there's so much of the Constitution that was just a Bible verse.